Devastated, confused, heartbroken. So many times in life we get thrown for a curve and don't know how to react.
I can tell you the first time I had sex, how was my marriage going to survive? It's over. I remember standing in front of the judge with my 3-week-old baby, looking at my ex. I saw the look on his face, and it was complete rage.
Welcome to When Life Throws You a Curve and How to Make the Adjustment with your host, Katie Hamilton.
Hey everyone, welcome to When Life Throws You a Curve and How to Make the Adjustment. I'm Katie Hamilton. Today we have a very, very, very special guest. I am so excited to welcome the most famous plastic surgeon in America with us today, the incredible, amazing Dr. Miami. Thank you so much for being here. I know I need to have an applause button so that, you know, maybe Cash, can you edit that in post? And I'm going to give you many rounds of applause.
That was a really nice introduction. It just, when you said, when life throws you a curve, man, that you couldn't be more aptly titled for this last month. It's crazy.
We started this podcast on February 21st was our first air date. And literally within perfection. I'm telling you, God's timing is perfection all the way around.
Let me tell you, when I drew up the list of things I was worried about this year, you know, plague was not on the list. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, not even the top 10 of the things I was worried about. And now it's been a month. I haven't operated. I mean, I like the time with the kids and stuff, but man, it sure does throw a wrench in everything, doesn't it?
It absolutely. And it's really why I wanted to make this podcast, because over the course of my life, I have been hit with so many curveballs that I wanted to share with people how to make the adjustment. You know, how often you want to get up there and just keep on striking out. No, we're going to figure this out. But I never would have anticipated that the world would have been hit with a curve like this. So that was actually one of my questions. And I mean, we're just going to jump right on in. How has this whole thing affected you practically? I mean, obviously you said you're not operating. Are you taking virtual?
No, I mean, look, so here's, you know, first of all, in general, when we talk about life throwing you curves, in my experience, anything that's like really difficult, you think it's going to be a horrible thing, ends up being a blessing in the end. So I know by this point in my life that this is going to be a blessing at some point in the future. It's just, you got to just kind of believe that that's going to happen, and you'll see the reason for it in the end. But from a practical standpoint, there is no elective surgery going on in the state of Florida until at least May 9th. And we've been in this for about 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, which is not just plastic surgery. It's if you need your hip replaced, arthroscopic surgery, your sinus surgery, any elective surgery is not going on in the state of Florida right now. So, you know, a lot of surgeons we're just kind of sitting around trying to pass the time. Look, I'm spending time with my kids. I'm doing CMEs, learning new things, calling my patients, seeing how they're doing, just reconnecting with people, you know, virtually. But it's a complete total stop to plastic surgery in Florida.
And there really wasn't any prep time. Like there wasn't like, hey, in 2020, this is going to happen. So get ready. It was just bam, you know.
You asked me about virtual consultation. So here's the thing, you know, I always considered it a huge blessing to have my surgery schedule booked out for years, you know, year, 2 years, 3 years. But in a situation like this, it's actually the opposite, because the bigger the train, you know, when it crashes, the more cars kind of pile into each other. So,
trust me, if I was scheduled for you and I had been waiting my 2 years, because I saw that's like your wait time, I would be so sad. Me and my ass would be so sad.
It's sad. And everybody, you know, I don't know what we're going to do, except I'll just work harder, you know, like, you know, work Sundays and, you know, earlier in the morning, try to get everybody rescheduled. But I'm not seeing new consults because I wouldn't know where to put them. You know what I mean?
That's a very good point. And honestly, you know, I said, you know, me and my ass would be so sad. I mean, that is true. We would. But when you think about the, you know, life and what's going on with people and like the significance of the situation. not being able to have an elective surgery is
No, it's not look, I feel bad. I feel bad for my patients.
I'm not trying to be
insensitive,
insensitive, of course.
I feel no, but, and I know that what you meant. And I feel bad for people that need their hip replaced or they're in pain and things like that, although I do feel the pain of having, a small butt. I do feel that pain. I know that, if your breasts are small or too big, those are real tears people cry. I understand that. Nobody understands that more than a plastic surgeon.
And you and we're going to talk about that a little bit in a little bit, because but we'll get there.
We'll get there. Okay.
But how does it feel to be in a medical field?
Yeah.
While all this is going on, but not really having to be on the front lines of everything. Do you feel helpless in a way, or do you feel relieved, or?
No, it's a mixture of emotions, because what I did the first couple of weeks is just I went on my IG live every day and talked about COVID-19, talked about how to keep your family safe. When I found out about these finger stick tests that are coming out now, that they just got, this is the first week we're going to have these finger stick tests people can do in their doctor's office or at home. I thought that's a huge thing. And I went online talking about it, trying to promote it, telling people what to do. But then you just say the same thing over and over again every single day. It gets a little frustrating, especially when you get pushback from people. They're like, I don't want to wear masks, or I don't want to, it's a scam. And I try to ignore all that crazy talk in the comments. But after a while, it does get you down. Now, I remember, I went to med school during the HIV/AIDS crisis. And so I remember being in the trenches when we had a virus that we couldn't really know where it was coming from or what it was, or when we figured out what it was, and then how communicable it was. We were all on the front lines with that. So I have real empathy for the nurses and doctors that are in the ERs and in the ICUs now dealing with this. It is really, really hard, and it's scary. It's really scary from a doctor standpoint.
Yeah, I would not want to be in their position. I'm extremely grateful that we have people that are, willing and able. Years ago, I worked in the medical field for a very short time. My original plan, because I was, 18, I was going to be a surgical tech and work in labor and delivery. There was a program. But then I got pregnant, and I ended up working. Labor and delivery. I had my own labor and delivery. And let me tell you, that was no joke, no freaking joke. But I worked in sports medicine for a little while for the hockey team in North Carolina. And then I got my real estate license. But I had to do clinical training for a few days, and we had to do it in a nursing home.
It's tough.
I couldn't hang. It just takes a very special group of people to be able, nurses and doctors and medical assistants and CNAs and all of those, they are just, y'all are a different breed. And I just could not be more grateful.
Now,
I couldn't do it.
The nurses and doctors that are going into the hospitals every day, they're full of COVID patients. I mean, they're no different than a fireman running into a burning building. I mean, it's that serious. And, the list, I have a WhatsApp chat group with doctors from around the world. The list of doctors and nurses that have died already, it's in the hundreds. You know what I mean? Because they're exposed to it every day. And we're not talking about old people. I mean, everybody should live to 120, but I'm just saying, we're talking people in the prime of their life, 30s, 40s, 50s. It's really sad. But anyway, I work in a hospital. I have my own surgery center. So they haven't called me in or anything. And I mean, I would go if they asked, but I think it hasn't gotten to that point in Florida. We're pretty well contained. We're very lucky. If you look at the list of the states, the numbers of cases, number of ICU beds that are being used, number of deaths. I mean, Florida is, I don't know if it's the third or fourth most populous state, but it's not the third or fourth most coronavirus cases. We're number 10 or 15 or something. So we're actually
that's a huge blessing, because there is an older population there, also.
Yep. I think it's because we shut down a little bit earlier. We shut down before New York did.
So that's what I was going to ask you, because you're from New York, right?
Yeah. I grew up in New York.
So do you still have family up there?
I do. I have family up there, and probably, they had flu symptoms. They're okay now, but they probably had it. I mean, 130,000 New Yorkers have it. That's like one. That's like 1 in 100 of the whole state. Probably like 1 out of 50 in the city. I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. In a place like that, I mean, I've been to New York a million times, and I love the energy. But there's people everywhere. You can't get away from anyone. So
in the subways and everything, and the buses. I mean, it's just whatever, God willing, with all the extra beds they brought in and the Javits Center and all that, they'll be able to handle the overflow. But thank God, Miami and Florida has been fairly well. It has not seen the exponential growth that you've seen in, like, for example, Louisiana. New Orleans is really hit hard, really hit hard.
God, so it's a devastating situation, and I am praying with the. Yeah. We've gotten some good news recently. This week I feel like it seems like hope. Maybe not this week we'll see a change, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll start to see the curve go down. I agree.
Decline. I think certainly by the beginning of May we should start to see things heading in the right direction. But as a doctor, I can't really. I would like to think that the first week of May things would be good, but it's probably looking like June realistically. Yeah.
Well, I would rather be hopeful.
Yeah, me too.
And like to be optimistic, but but have a plan. I'd love to be surprised. I typically don't like surprises, but this would be,
Listen, the best thing is that the supply chain of food and medicine and everything is really holding up well. So I think that's like a real great blessing that we have in this country, that even though everybody's home quarantined, people aren't going hungry, food's being delivered, the grocery stores, the trucks are moving, the trains are moving. So that's good.
I mean, that actually is huge. I mean, if Instacart and Uber Eats and all those things weren't a thing.
Can you imagine we didn't have that? Imagine this happened 10 years ago.
No, actually it would. And I cook. I mean, I would be, I would be probably, no, I don't even want to think about what I would be doing. It would not be good.
Thank God that we're ready for this. Yeah. Okay.
At least, I mean, because you got to got to look for the positives, and there are, like you said, we will see blessings, and that's again the whole podcast. There is such good stuff in the hard stuff. We don't always see it right when we're in it, but in time we will see it, and God works all things for good. I
can think of a number of things that already are starting to show. First of all, there's going to be a lot less flu deaths this year because people are actually taking care of their hygiene and washing their hands and everything else. So that's a blessing. There'll be a lot less car accident deaths this year because nobody's driving anywhere.
That's a very good point. I didn't think about that, but absolutely.
Invest in car insurance companies because they're not making any payments. They're not paying out anything.
I should. I absolutely should. So let's talk for a second, because you have been at home. I remember when my ex-husband, I was married to him during his entire Major League Baseball career. We always, from season going into the off season, there was always an adjustment, just generally as a family, because we were used to him being gone, even though we traveled a lot, but we weren't used to him being around every single day. And he wasn't used to being with a whole bunch of women every single day. So I know you're a dad, you've got 5 kids. What's the adjustment been like for you guys as a family? Tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, I think we're all going through it. A lot of dads at work are not used to seeing their kids. I've got 5 kids. My oldest daughter's already married, but I've got 4 boys between the ages of 11 and 17. And that, again, is a huge blessing because, they're at a great age where I can connect with them and play video games with them and just hang out. And, so that, I mean, I try on the weekends as best I can, but the last month I see them every day, wake them up every day, eat dinner with them every day, breakfast with them. It's like, you can't put a price on that. You really can't. You look back, like imagine you're on your deathbed, right? You're like 100 years old and someone says, you have all this money in the bank, and someone says, how much would you pay to go back and spend a month or 2 months solid with your teenage boys every day? You can't put a price on that, right?
No, absolutely. And it's so great that you have that perspective, especially, you have a daughter that's married now. My oldest, she's 19. So she's on the East Coast. I can't be with her.
Oh yeah.
It's been hard. I mean, I'm glad she's there at least with, my family.
You got to Zoom with her though, right? Do you Zoom with her every night or FaceTime?
We FaceTime. She doesn't even daggone send a text without, running it by me. I mean, we're very close.
Right. Good.
It's hard to be away from her, but I had my kids over the span of 10 years. So I had that perspective of how fast it goes.
Goes so fast.
Yeah. It really has taught me just to treasure the moment. So like for us, I used to homeschool. Then I got a homeschool teacher, and then my kids started going to private school last year. Right. But now we're back to homeschooling. And so that adjustment's been pretty good. I did not
At least you had the experience, A lot of moms are like, they had no clue what it's like to homeschool, and now they're homeschooling.
Oh my goodness. And let me tell you, it was definitely a growing process for me when I homeschooled, but I'm back in a growing process because now I'm working, pretty much full-time from home with a house full of kids, and I'm the teacher. So, and I'm a one-woman show over here. Thankfully, I have a couple ladies that, come in and have my back.
Help. Yes.
I am very grateful for them because it's tough, but it is such a gift. I have loved this time. Yeah. I have actually, I hate the way, like the reason that we're doing it, having to do it, but I have loved not having to be in 1,000 different places, not running, doing sports. Just the fact that we have no carpool. I love that. Oh, praise God, right? Bless for real. That's one thing, the carpool is not my jam, but you do what you got to do.
Not me either. Yeah. Look, the kids are home, they're learning, they're hanging out, they're getting along, which is also a miracle. A miracle. If you would have said that, 4 boys would be able to live, without leaving the house for a month and not kill each other, let's just say, thank God. They're doing okay.
It is a miracle. My daughters, I've got 4 girls. 3 are here with me now. And they are also getting along, but we've had a few sit downs, we've had some teaching moments. But I have to tell you, one thing that really surprised me about you, and I really just love this fact, and I really want to talk about it for a few minutes because I watched you on Snapchat long before I started watching you on a more, learning more about your personal life. But I found out that you are, one, you've got five kids. You're a devoted husband, and you're a very traditional Orthodox Jew, Jewish man, and adhere to all the traditions. You have Shabbat, so it's Holy Week right now. So I love that you have all of those traditions, and it seems from everything I've seen, you're raising your kids in that faith. And your daughter asked a question that I'm dying to know the answer to, but I'm going to get to that in a second. But I'm curious, for Passover, which is in just a few days, are you all going to do a virtual Passover with your friends and family across the country, or will you just do it with your crew at home, or what's that going to look like?
So that's a great question. So first of all, we're all ready. We got all the food, everything. We're all stocked up. We have enough food to last 2 weeks at least. We have to leave the house. So we're good. But we're just gonna do the Passover, just the immediate family, just the immediate family. We've never done. You know what I mean? It's like, imagine having Christmas dinner, but just you and your kids. You know what I mean? So, or Easter. So it's like, it's going to be interesting. Actually, I'm looking forward to it. I feel like there'll be a lot less distractions, and there's no guests, there's no extended family. So that's, I think, a positive thing. On the other hand, my mom, who can't be with us because she's in isolation, is going to be zooming in to my sister's Passover Seder that she's having in Israel.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
They're 7 hours ahead. So it's not even like breaking any of our traditional laws. We're not supposed to use electronics. on Passover or the Sabbath, so we don't drive in cars. We just kind of disconnect completely. But because she's in Israel, it's like 7 hours ahead, so it actually works. And the chief rabbis in Israel said it was okay to use Zoom to zoom in a Passover Seder if an old person would feel extreme psychological distress if they were not included. So that's
I
like
think
kind
that
of
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? So a lot of older Jews are zooming into the Passover Seders they can't be with, because it's really dangerous. In fact, it's most dangerous when older people get close contact with like grandkids and kids as far as COVID-19 goes. That's the most deadly combination, because more than likely the kids or young people have it or asymptomatic. And if the old people get it, they could die, God forbid. So it's like, you definitely don't want to be in the same room, old people, young people, during this.
Oh, for sure. I have a lot of Jewish friends.
Yeah.
Some like the varying degrees of, their practice, and, some of them are pretty traditional, some of them not nearly as much. But quite a few of them are doing a Zoom Seder.
A Zoom Seder, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, I think
it's like,
I think I'm glad that the rabbis have cleared it, because it's the heart behind it, I think is good,
this has never happened before in, thousands of years of say 3,000
definitely not
years
in Bible
of
times.
It's never happened before. So it's going to be, you're right. It's a holy week. And all the families are home together with your immediate family. And, like you said before, it's a blessing. It's God's way of like putting a stop, stopping us, full stop, stay home, hang out with your family, figure out what's important, stay safe, stay healthy. And I think it's going to be a very, very special holiday week for us, for everybody.
I think so too. I mean, just when you think about like, even I feel like in a way God's even been getting rid of like idols out of our lives. Like sports is gone, like distractions are gone, I mean, like it's family. And I do think that he's doing something, where
there's a message here. There's a message here for everybody. There's a message here for everybody. Yeah, for sure.
So about your family, your daughter said something because you had a documentary come out at Miami Film Festival. And I have not been able to see the whole movie, although I would really love to. But in the trailer, she asks, she makes a statement, and this is something that I just found so fascinating. And as a parent, I would love to hear your response, and especially because you're a plastic surgeon. She says, our bodies are not our own, they're God's. So how do you apply your faith and, recognizing, okay, yes, our bodies are not our own. And listen, I also, it's different, a little different, but also a believer in God. And, from a Christian perspective, but, I had 3 breast reductions. So right. I'm not opposed, but how do you apply that principle?
Right. So I agree. I agree with what she said. The caveat is, are you abusing the body or are you improving the body? And when you say your body belongs to God and you have to take care of it. You have to take care of it, whether that means eating right, working out, eating healthy, not doing drugs, not drinking too much alcohol. That's also taking care of your body. Now, the idea behind plastic surgery is to improve the body. I would never do a plastic surgery where you look at the after picture and it looks worse than the before picture. That's not the goal, right? The goal is that
a person looks at the goal.
When you look at the after picture, so you go, wow, that's a better body. That's more comfortable. Now, I think of it as like you have a soul, which is kind of like an astronaut in a spacesuit. And the spacesuit is your body, and the astronaut is the soul. And if the spacesuit doesn't fit right, you don't feel comfortable in your skin, it could stop you from being the best person you can be. So you need to feel comfortable in your body. Now, from a biblical perspective, if you want to look at the Old Testament, as they call it, if you want to look at the Old Testament or look at the Bible, one of the first commandments that God gives to Abraham is to circumcise himself. So the idea that God says you can't change the body, I think
that's
is wrong.
actually a very good point. That's
It's
actually
not that you can't change the
it's
body.
a very, very good point. I've never heard anyone put those two together, and I actually really, I mean, I think that's very, very wise.
Thank you.
Because my struggle was like, okay, God says, even in the Old Testament, okay, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. I believe that.
Yeah.
So, when I would get posed with the question, well, if you believe that, then why are you going to get your boobs reduced? Well, I'm tired of getting hit in the face every time I try to run,
Exactly. These, and it's a very flippant answer for people to say you should just live with the body you were born with. I mean, you don't say that in any other respect to really anything in life. You don't say you're born naked and you can't take care of yourself, so you should just leave the baby to die. You would never say someone's born deaf, don't try to make them hear, right? You wouldn't say we're born in the wilderness, let's just all live in caves. You'd say let's use what God gave us, the materials he gave us, the wood, to build houses. Use the brains that we have to try to make things better, and so that we can worship him better. It's really hard. And let me tell you, in times like this, you find out how deep your faith is. You find out who are the people that are religious on the outside and the people who are religious on the inside. Because when your job is gone, your money's gone, and you can't talk to your friends, and then you see who's really there for you, who you can count on, and who puts their faith before their self-preservation, and there's a saying I heard the other day. It says, you never know who's swimming naked till the tide goes out. That's kind of funny. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Some people are pretending.
It's very true. That's good. Oh, listen, when shit hits the fan, your true colors come out. I mean, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. I mean, at some point, people will see your true colors. That's a fact. It's a matter of time, because people can only fake it for so long. And, my response as far as plastic surgery, because I don't think that it's wrong, as long as my heart is in the right place, as long as I'm not going into debt, I'm not addicted to it, I'm not finding my self-worth, in that. I know that God loves me. He made me, and listen, he gives me the desires of my heart. So if that's really my heart's desire and I'm walking with him, I don't feel convicted or I don't, that's really truly how I feel.
Yeah.
And I love that you make help people feel better about themselves.
That's the goal. And let me tell you, I turn away a lot of people for a number of reasons. If it's not a medical health reason, because I feel like it's too risky to, it's not worth the risk, or it's psychologically, they're not, if they have a problem that's more up here, right? Mm-hmm. They have a problem with the way they perceive their bodies, but how it actually is. It's called body dysmorphia. Surgery doesn't help that. And there's a lot of people with that problem. Maybe 1 or 2% of the population have that problem. And if they walk into a plastic surgeon's office and the plastic surgeon doesn't pick up on it, you're not helping them, is what I'm saying. So,
I'm sure that there's a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of plastic surgeons out there that don't pick up on it. They may not have the experience, the wherewithal.
I think it's just experience. Yeah. I mean, nobody wants to make a patient unhappy, but if you don't pick up on the signs, some people, they're just not ready to accept happiness at that point in their life, whatever reason. You know what I mean? They're just not, they're not there. They're not in a healthy psychological place.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, in times like this is like a refining time for so many. Yeah. I mean, every challenging time, every challenge we go through is a season of refinement. Hopefully, for the better. That's how
it will be for the better.
All
I'm
of those
sure
challenging. I believe so too. I mean, I can tell you, as much as painful as it's been for so many people, there's also, those of us out there that are making the best of it and really counting our blessings and coming back to what matters, our faith, our family. So, and, there are also a whole bunch of us out there that are going to be very grateful when you're back to work and doing your thing. I'm sure your millions of
so many emails
followers have been
I have so many direct messages and emails So many
probably
people are
can't even
like,
get through 'em.
I'm gaining so much weight in quarantine. I can't work out. I need you to suck this fat off me. I'm like, okay, let's just get through this and we'll talk, you know?
Do you do any, or would you do any, like non-surgical procedures if if that were an option for you, like to go back to do like fillers or to do like non-invasive
Yeah, I don't even know that that's, I mean, I would do it, but I don't, it's not even allowed in the state of Florida right now. They're not allowing anything.
But you don't think that'll open up before like the operating rooms?
It's hard to know. If it does, I'll go back. I'll do some fillers. I'll do some Botox. That's easy stuff.
Oh,
you know,
gosh.
I
haven't had Botox in so long.
I love Botox. I think it's a wonder drug. I mean, I use it myself every 3 months. I love it. I just stick myself with it. It's really, it's a great drug. I mean, it's one of the few pharmaceutical breakthroughs that actually like over delivers on what it promises. You know what I mean?
Well,
like it really does a good job.
To many.
It's so good.
And many of us that are missing it right now.
Especially if you have kids, you know, it just stops you from like making that face. You know, like.
It's helped me with headaches.
Yeah,
I used to get,
Yeah.
It has, and it's helped me with my like jaw, like with
It's so good. Yeah.
It has many benefits.
If they let
aesthetically
us
and
do
otherwise.
it, if they let me do it, I'll do it. You know, but I don't know. We'll see.
So a couple other questions about plastic surgery that I'm very curious about. One, if you're doing a Brazilian butt lift, I know that one of the ways you can do it is like through fat transfer.
Yeah.
Is that the primary way, or do you also do implants?
I don't do implants. A lot of surgeons do implants. I don't do implants. The key thing, if you do implants, make sure they're small. Like what people are leaning towards now, if you want to do butt implants, is a small implant and then fat on top of it to like layer it in like a a combined procedure. But I do only fat transfer. That's all I do.
Because when I've watched your surgery,
it's safer. It's more reliable, less complications.
I mean, your surgeries are remarkable. You know, when you see those before and afters of the ladies on the table. I mean, like it's a life-changing event for them.
It is.
Do you find that
it's very gratifying to me?
Oh, I bet. I cannot imagine with you touching base back with patients, having time to reconnect with them, just being like, they have to be so happy because, the recovery, I'm sure sucks, but
they say things that make me tear up, like, and it's very emotional. I had a woman, she called me, when I called her and she said, I was in the grocery store and I turned an aisle and I started crying. I said, why you cry? She goes, there was a strange man who looked at me in a way that a man hasn't looked at me like that in so long. And I was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, wow, it's like really powerful.
That does a lot. That really does a lot for a woman. Especially, I've had 4 kids. It's, the only reason I haven't, I was one of those people that got turned away. I went in to see if I can get my tummy tucked. And they said, you just don't, you're not a candidate.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough skin.
It's good he turned you away.
Yeah. I went to a few. I wanted to make sure that it was really a no, but I am glad too. I went to this, I started having kids young. I went to this Healthy Moms class, and it was a bunch of these 45-year-old women having babies. They were very hippie, and they had these tricks to keep your abs together, and and they had tricks to keep all kind of stuff together. And I was so, they freaked me out. I was like, I've never even heard of that. What is that? And so I did it all religiously. Through all my pregnancies, and
kept it together.
It did. It kept it all tip top. Thank God. There's of course things I wish,
everybody
change a little bit, but by far and away, I'm very, very happy.
There's 2 kinds of people. There's people that wish they could change something about themselves, and there's liars, who don't admit it. That's about it.
Right.
Everybody has something, you know what I mean?
For sure.
That they wish they could improve a little bit.
And I will tell you, my breast reductions were the greatest just such a
I know.
blessing. On number 3, I just said, take them all out. I want
Take 'em
all the
out.
real boob gone. I was a
Yeah.
34G at one
Yeah.
point,
Wow.
at 2 points. And then I said, just give me fake ones.
Yes.
And let me
It's
just
life
tell you,
changing.
it's
Life
like the
changing.
greatest thing ever.
I know. I see patients even in the recovery room. Like sometimes I'll do a breast reduction and they'll just sit up in the recovery room and they just can't stop smiling. They have like one of those smiles that you just can't take off because I mean to live like that for so many years, so heavy and like it's like their posture is different all of a sudden. It like opens them up.
Yeah, my back I've had back issues. I couldn't run. I couldn't do sports when I was young. I had 3 sports bras on. I'm a small girl.
Right.
And both my sisters had the same issues, but it was a bizarre thing that just me and my sisters, my mom, normal, just anyway, I evidently came from my daddy's side, but, it definitely was a blessing, and I would do it again in a heartbeat if I needed to. But, well, I am just so honored to have been able to talk with you. I love not only that you help women and just giving them that confidence and helping them feel better and fit better in their clothes and all of that. That's amazing. And it is very admirable and commendable. But I also really love that you're such an involved dad and husband and man of your faith. Like that is for me, like what was just so impressive. I mean, you were already so impressive, but then like when I found out those facts about you, I was really blown away. And I think you're an amazing example to so many people out there. And I hope there's lots of men that look at you and that not only are you there for the chicks. I think there's probably a lot of men that already appreciate you for a lot of reasons.
I get some postcards from husbands here and there, some fan mail.
I mean, and oh my gosh, and I also love the fun fact that you have been mentioned in so many rap songs. I'm a hip hop lover, so Snoop Dogg and 2 Chainz, and
That's
all
awesome.
those guys. How does that make you feel? I just have to know, what does that make you feel? Because you're not just
It's like living my teenage dream. I mean, I grew up, in New York in the late '80s. When hip hop was just beginning. All that was just
getting off the ground.
So this is it's a dream come true, and it's not something I ever planned. It just kind of happened. So it's a blessing from God, really. Everything is, So yeah, I'm just enjoying it.
Everything it is, because you are not just a plastic surgeon who works on celebrities. Like you are actually a celebrity yourself. I mean, truly.
I laugh because it's funny just to hear you say that. It's so surreal for me,
But
because my personal life. What I'm just a doctor. I just go to work, hang out with my kids. I don't even own a car. Like my wife has a minivan, and that's it. I walk to work. I don't even
Do you really?
Yeah. I tell people I drive a no Gotti.
That's good. That's actually very good. Well, you get your exercise in. I mean, you're standing, at, operating for hours a day. So.
Oh yeah. You know what though? I wear the mask now all the time when we leave. If we leave the house to go grocery shop, whatever we do outside the house, I wear a mask. Even walking in the neighborhood, and my wife is like, "These masks are so uncomfortable." I'm like, honey, I wear that every day for 12 hours a day. I wear a mask. It's like a second skin to me.
So I'm actually glad you mentioned that. I do need to ask because my kids had. I have always been claustrophobic with masks, except. My kids had the norovirus and the flu this past December at the same time. All 4 of them, we were in hospitals. I mean, I had a mask on. I'm the only one that did not get sick. My staff got sick. Everybody got sick. So, I have wanted to go run outside just to get exercise. And are you recommending the mask?
Wear a mask.
Okay.
Wear a mask. If you leave your house, wear a mask. Any kind of mask is better than no mask. You can find something that's comfortable for you. But you should wear a mask if you go outside. You cannot you can protect yourself. You can, if you, like you did with, like, you didn't get the norovirus, you didn't get the flu.
No, and I was
bet
cleaning
you were
up
very
puke
careful.
and some other stuff.
You were very careful.
I had gloves. Right? I was,
If you're careful,
very careful.
I mean, this virus is not like magic. It's not like a mosquito. It's not going to fly around and like try to bite you. You have to do something. You have to touch something or be close to somebody or get it on you and get it into your mouth or mucous membrane. So if you're careful, you can be around people with it and not catch it. But you got to know to protect yourself. So,
if we go outside and there's nobody out there.
Okay, if there's nobody out there, the problem is that you don't know for sure that unless you live, like if you're running in your backyard, fine, go out. But if you're running in a street where there's the remotest possibility that you might come across somebody, or somebody might have been there 10 seconds before you got there and sneezed right in the air, you run through it or something, you got to be careful. But if you have a backyard or you're in a really isolated development, you're fine. You know what I mean? But if there's any people at all, you have to protect yourself. You got to assume everybody has it. Because the majority of people that
I'm glad you're telling me this.
The majority of people that have it have no symptoms. I'll say that again. The vast majority of people that have this virus have no symptoms whatsoever. I'm not saying like a little tickle in their throat or they don't body aches. I'm talking no symptoms.
That to me is mind blowing. I mean, that is like, I think the more we find out about this virus, I'm sure at some point, hopefully someone will be able to give an explanation as to why that is. Like what, is it like a genetic thing? Is it like an antibody thing?
It could be your genetic predisposition. Could be that your state of your health. If your immune system's compromised, you haven't been sleeping right, haven't been eating right. If you had a cold beforehand and then you got it, you had a strep throat and then you got the virus, hold on one second. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry about that. Sorry. Somebody just tried to call me. Or the dose of the virus that you're exposed to. Like if you're in a crowded subway and there's like 14 people around with it and coughing all that, and that's a huge dose that you're going to get right there, as opposed to just shaking hands with one person. So, there may be a lot of factors, but.
Well, my daughter lived in Miami. In fact, she was planning to go back this spring because she models. So she signed with an agency down there. And she lived, when she goes, she lives in South Beach. And I spent a lot of time there, with her last year when she was there. And I know there are people, it's everywhere. Far different there than it is like here where I live, where I can go out and not see a single soul. Yeah. If I were in that situation, I would think, yes, definitely. Sure. That makes a lot more sense. If you live in an isolated area and you got like a 99% chance you're not going to see anybody or be around anybody, go ahead and run without a mask. And not touch anything.
And don't touch anything. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's not forever, but it is going to be like that for the next couple months,
Well, I appreciate the the tips, that the comfort, your feedback, your insight. I hope that you guys have a very, very blessed Passover and
you too. Have a happy Easter, a happy Holy Week. I'm honored that you had me on. It was really nice chatting you, getting to know you. You have any questions, anything you need, you hit me up. I got you. Okay.
I appreciate that. It was an honor for me. So thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Everybody, y'all, I'm sure you guys have been delighted with this podcast. Dr. Miami is amazing. And follow him on Snapchat. You want to tell everybody where they can find you if they haven't already found you?
Yeah, the real Dr. Miami, or just Google Dr. Miami. It'll come up somewhere.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I will see everybody next week on When Life Throws You a Curve and how to make the adjustment. Have a blessed Holy Week. Happy Passover, happy Easter, and take care. Come find me on social media on Instagram and Twitter at Katie Hamilton 32, on Facebook at Katie Hamilton, and at When Life Throws You a Curve 32, and on YouTube at Katie Hamilton.